I guarantee he paid for it. I can't. I guarantee it. Calm down. Calm down, brother. Come to the fight. Come to the fight.
I could have stopped him. It's me. Because I ain't pick it up when I supposed to pick it up. I think I was boxing too much in the beginning. When I felt like he was slow, it was just already late down the line. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning.
Davis has started speaking up again after weeks of silence following his underwhelming performance against Lamont Roach. He had promised to return to the gym after the fight, allowing himself only 1 week to rest and recover. Now, after 3 weeks of training, he seems to be finding his rhythm again. Davis has called out Lamont Roach, promising that things will be very different this time. "It's going to be a death sentence, guy. All this talk has to stop," he tweeted on.
Look, fool. Hey, fool. This me and you, fool. This me and you, fool.
Tank.
This me and you, fool. Don't worry about them. They might get you. They gonna trick you out your spot. They gonna trick you out your spot, fool.
And what's one thing we all know about a Gervonta Davis tweet? Especially when it's an insult or a shot at someone, he always deletes it right away. That's exactly what he did after saying his rematch with Lamont Roach would be a death sentence for the Washington, D.C. native. Maybe when the World Boxing Association talks about trash talk, they mean how Lamont Roach has been trolling Davis on every platform he can find. Since defeating Davis, the Reaper Roach has been more active on X than ever. He's given countless interviews discussing the fight's outcome, something Davis clearly isn't happy about. Now, as their rematch approaches, the tension is rising. This is getting even more intense than their first fight.
Stop. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all know how I'm coming. Y'all know how I'm coming. So stop it. Y'all gonna make it hard for him. That's what y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna make it hard for him.
Unbiased Box 2 shared a post on X featuring an interview with WBA super featherweight champion Lamont Roach Jr. He appeared on Nightcap alongside Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson. During the discussion about his controversial draw with Gervonta Davis, Roach was asked if the referee's failure to call a foul in the 9th round affected his strategy for the later rounds. Without hesitation, he replied, "I'd have to say no." Why? He explained that Gervonta Davis taking a knee wasn't a setback for him. It was actually a confidence boost. To Roach, it proved that his game plan was working and that Davis was struggling.
Truthfully speaking, it wasn't really hard to focus. I've been an underdog before, obviously not a huge underdog, but when you go back to the Jamel fight, world title fight, I was an underdog. When you go back to the Hector fight, I was an underdog. Very disrespectful underdog, honestly. So now when we get here to the Tank fight, it's just like, all right, here we go again. I feel like when my back is against the wall or against the ropes, it's like...
The fact that Gervonta Davis took a knee was a huge confidence boost because it showed that Roach's strategy was working. That was the key, the Washington native revealed. The real advantage? Roach and Davis had already faced each other twice in their amateur days, which gave Roach the edge. After landing a sharp 3-punch combination, one of which connected cleanly with Davis's eye, Roach knew he had struck gold. That's why he immediately turned to the referee, shouting, "Keep counting, he's tripping, that's a knockdown." Seeing a fighter with a 30-0 record and 28 knockouts drop to a knee, Roach expected referee Steve Willis to follow protocol and start the mandatory 10 count. At first, Willis did begin counting, but when he reached 3, he suddenly stopped, failing to call it a knockdown.
Rounds too. Yeah. I wonder if they were giving... this is so, like the criteria for boxing, okay, if a guy is coming forward or if a guy is controlling the ring or whatever the case may be, using ring generalship to box or anything like that, was he outboxing me? Was he using the ring to set me up with certain shots or anything like that? No. I was pressing the action.
And this is the main reason the fight ended in a draw. If you didn't notice, the referee started counting, but then suddenly stopped. So when he resumed the action, I was like, "What are you doing? Keep counting," the frustrated 29-year-old said. To make things worse, one of Gervonta Davis's coaches, Calvin Ford, climbed onto the ring mid-round to wipe his fighter's face, another clear violation of the rules that could have led to Davis's disqualification. Given referee Steve Willis's reputation as an experienced official, these lapses were shocking in a championship fight. No wonder Roach and his team are outraged over what they see as a major officiating mistake. And they're not alone. Ryan Garcia and Terence Crawford are also speaking out, pushing for change.
We established ourselves in the fight, so I thought we was winning the early rounds based off that. But I said it all along, Tank ain't never been into a ring with a full package fighter like Lamont. And he was gonna have to think a little bit more than he thinked in the past. And yeah, we was right there. We want to see what his full arsenal is. We told him to bring his tool bag because we was bringing ours. So he had the opportunity to capitalize on some of the things we done, and we had to capitalize on his. But yeah, that was part of it.
You brought a tool bag?
The most baffling part of the story, the one that still needs more attention, is this. What was going on with Davis? Sure, it was shocking to see the 30-year-old Baltimore native struggle against a massive underdog after dominating the sport for so long. But that wasn't even the biggest surprise. Roach looked like the bigger, stronger fighter after moving up to lightweight. He used his confidence and experience, gained from growing up in the same boxing circles as Davis, to deliver the most impressive performance of his career.
What you talking about? He like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I was like, oh, is that right? So, you know, that's how.
Especially when he was trying to find certain shots. It's like we were doing a lot of talking back and forth. So about that next, yeah. It's like I know that he was trying to steal. I know that he was trying to steal because I was establishing the real estate. I was popping my jab. I was making them think. I was making them do a lot of things. And the fact that he knew, well, he figured he had to be cautious after he threw certain punches as well because he was worried about counter.
The sigh. Biggest questions surrounded Davis's mindset and his strange behavior before, during, and after the fight. Was this just an off night for one of boxing's pound-for-pound best, or has Davis lost the competitive fire that made him a superstar? It's not unusual for star boxers to be late for media events, especially Davis, who was nearly 2 hours late for his 2023 kickoff press conference with Ryan Garcia. But in December, he took it to another level, arriving 4.5 hours late to his first event with Roach in New York, and then showing up 90 minutes late to last Friday's weigh-in. During Fight Week, Davis was his usual playful and relaxed self. But once in the ring, his behavior became concerning. Twice, he took his eyes off Roach to argue with referee Steve Willis, only to get caught with clean punches in return.
I had to say, you know, that's how boxing works. I'm not, like, totally upset. I figured with a superstar, you won't get too much
prime. Video cameras also captured Davis yelling over his trainer, Calvin Ford, in the corner between rounds, shouting, "Listen to me!" Then there was the controversial knockdown in round 9. After Roach landed a series of jabs, Davis started blinking aggressively and suddenly turned his back to the action, taking a knee. He quickly got up and ran to his corner, where Ford wiped his eyes with a towel, something that could have led to disqualification under the rules. Referee Steve Willis initially began the mandatory 8 count, but stopped at 3, instead warning Davis before allowing the fight to continue.
Like, it goes to when we were talking about pre-fight. He never been in the ring with a guy like me, with my demeanor, with my skill set, with my ability to punch with a guy. I don't even know if he's, because I know he's been in there with punchers that technically punch harder than me, or from what we saw.
He don't leave him alone. He never been in with a guy who he hits and he leaves him alone, and he doesn't leave him alone.
Yeah. Why not? What you talking about? He like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I was like, oh, is that right? So, you know, that's how.
Not only was Davis's explanation during the post-fight interview unusual, but his overall demeanor seemed surprisingly casual, especially considering how close he came to losing his title and unbeaten record. As the crowd booed him, it was hard to tell if he was embarrassed or just indifferent. "I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she put grease in it. So when I was sweating, the grease got in my eyes and burned," Davis said, frustrated by the reaction. He added, "Damn, Why are y'all booing like I'm making this up? These are real facts. Come on, man. Look at my hair. I just got it done. Still, he brushed it off, saying, but it's all cool, man. You know how they are. They love you, then they hate you. Then they turn around and love you again.
Good. But as soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. It's okay. We gonna run it back.
Davis, who has a mandatory rematch clause in his contract, expressed his interest in exercising it on social media this past Monday. However, at the post-fight press conference, he seemed more humble while explaining his performance, though his comments revealed a lack of awareness regarding the rules. Nobody likes a draw from a guy who gets knockouts and all that, but it's cool, Davis said. If we fight again, I feel like I could do more. I should have done more. I lost track of the rounds. That's why we need ring girls. I didn't even know what round it was.
Hair done 2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must ain't do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on?
I didn't want to get caught while my eyes were burning. You can get knocked out like that, so I'd rather take a knee, Davis explained. But I didn't really know you could get disqualified for receiving mid-round corner assistance. When Willis started counting, I was like, what? The hell? But it's cool. During a chat with Colin McGuigan on TV, Golden Boy pointed out referee Steve Willis's questionable decision in the 9th round. After taking a punch from Roach near the eye, Davis turned away and dropped to one knee, an action that should have been ruled a knockdown. Under the rules, this should have cost him a point, and the judges should have awarded the round to Roach.
Tank or Lamont?
This is my opinion.
Sure.
It was a great fight. It was a close fight. Depending on what they do with that decision of taking the knee, depending if the commission reverses the decision, or I think a draw was meant to be. So I like the draw.
Do you like it?
When I hit him on the break, he was like, get out of there. He said, stop holding. As soon as he said stop holding, I punched him. So he's like, how you gonna tell me to stop holding and let him punch me or something like that? Steve said, fight out of the clinch. That's what we were gonna do. He came in the back and was like, I'm gonna let you fight out, especially if one arm is loose or whatever the case may be, as long as you're not holding and hitting. So when he said, get out of there, he got out of there.
You know who the commission or the referee is? In fact, I was surprised that the referee allowed that to happen because he is a professional with experience, said 52-year-old former boxer Oscar De La Hoya. Steve Willis has officiated several fights for Golden Boy Promotions, so De La Hoya was surprised by his decisions in this bout. However, what shocked him even more was Lamont Roach's performance. He praised Roach for putting Gervonta Davis in trouble, despite Davis being a fantastic fighter. I just feel that Roach did extremely well against Gervonta Davis. I think Lamont Roach was at his best, and it was a great fight, De La Hoya said.
In the 90s or in 2000, you're taking a point off. That's the bottom line. You're taking a point off. I don't know what happened with the referee. Maybe he was a little starstruck. Maybe he was a little...
Renowned boxing coach Teddy Atlas shared his thoughts on what went wrong in the fight.
Sorry, I'm terrible. I am, but I'm ashamed of myself. I am so cynical, but this sport has made me cynical. I'm sorry. I don't see anyone's going.
Atlas suggested that the referee wasn't good enough and even hinted at possible bias or bribery, stating that the same leniency wouldn't have been shown to Roach. Bad refs. We need better refs. More educated, trained, whatever you want to call them. I'm not going to say honest because I don't know if honesty was the issue. But we definitely need refs who can make the right decisions, know they're making the right call, and have the courage to do it, Atlas said. He added, I don't think that ref would have let Roach get away with what he let Tank Davis get away with. Why? because Tank's a star.
Reprimand this referee. I don't. What are they gonna do? I mean, that's it happens too often. It's happened too often. I don't know. We need a national commission. That's the only thing I can think of, but we're not getting one right now.
Continued. I think he set a record for the most fans ever at Barclays Center. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I believe they hit a new attendance record, maybe even a gate record too. They've had concerts, fights, and basketball games there, and this did big numbers. He emphasized Davis's star power, saying, "He's a star. He brings people in, has a huge fan base, and delivers strong pay-per-view numbers. I don't know the exact numbers for this one, but he's one of those guys who consistently pulls in good pay-per-view figures. All of that comes with him."
But the last thing I want to say to put a bow on this one, Bud, we talked about the controversial part, but I want to finish with...
Atlas continued. When a referee allows a fighter to take a knee, which isn't part of the rules in boxing, and lets him get away with it without making it a 10-8 round when it should have been, that's a problem. He got hit with a jab just before that. He clarified that he wasn't trying to attack Davis, saying, "People already say I defend him too much or hype him up, and he is great. He's a tremendous, complete fighter, a puncher inside and outside, patient, defensively responsible with fast hands. He puts punches together, goes to the body, can counterpunch, set traps, all of that." However, Atlas made it clear that Davis was in the wrong this time. "He got away with it because the sport let him. There's nothing wrong with the fighters. It's the people running the sport that are the problem. We see it, and we shouldn't keep seeing it. It's got to stop."
The great part. That was high-level boxing. That was two guys at the highest level showing their skills.
Teddy Atlas further emphasized the issue, saying, "A referee can't just ignore something that's not in the rule book. Tank got hit with a jab, and a second or two later, he took a knee. Guess what? I'm sorry, but that's a knockdown. If your knee touches the canvas after a punch, it's a knockdown. This isn't football. There are no fair catches here. You know what I mean?" He pointed out that even Terence Crawford, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, was surprised by the situation. Crawford said, "I didn't know that was a rule. I guess I was sleeping when they passed that one." Atlas then joked. Maybe he was out doing road work or something when that rule, which isn't a rule, was made. He continued, "This isn't the Indianapolis 500. You can't pull into pit row because your oil needs changing, your tires need swapping, or grease needs wiping from your eye. There's no pit row in boxing. Tank went down on a knee, and Roach, credit to him, should have gone after him. Because the rule is, defend yourself at all times, right? He would have been within his right."
Counter, and then all of a sudden you're in front of him. Boom! You're the invisible man. You're on the... That's sweet science too, yes. And it's easier to see. It grabs your attention. Oh, wow, look at that guy. He's on the outside.
Atlas emphasized that Roach had every right to continue attacking, stating, "I've seen fighters hit opponents who are turning or walking away. The referee doesn't stop it unless the bell rings or he steps in. You have the right to hit the guy that's fighting you. Roach had that right." He acknowledged Roach's sportsmanship, but argued that he could have taken advantage of the moment. "Roach was a gentleman, a sportsman. I give him credit. But when Tank turned, Roach could have landed a left hook or maybe a straight left since he's a southpaw. Whatever the shot, it was his right to pursue and throw. Maybe he could have caught him and knocked him down while he was turning. It wouldn't have been the nicest thing to see, but he wouldn't have been wrong." Atlas then pointed the blame at Davis and the referee. The ones who were wrong, Tank and the referee.
With all the flames and everything going, and you don't get burnt up, you don't get torched, you don't get scorched. That is high level.